here you are in a Hall of Fame, and I remember a little fella used to come down to Mel Vista Cricket Ground and watch his brother play under 14s, and here we are standing on a stage. You've been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Must be a special time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when I got the call late last year to say that I'd been included, it was surprised but very humbled and honoured by this, being bestowed upon me. It's special time.
And going on the footy journey, because you had choices, of course. Cricket was big in the family. Your dad was involved at a long time in regards to cricket and footy and the stuff. I mean, why did footy win out?
Well, probably got drafted as much as anything. I was fortunate. I was playing both sports, but the opportunity at Claremont, I sort of, back then, you didn't get drafted out of the under-18s. You sort of played Colts footy and then league footy, and from there, West Coast sort of came knocking. And I love both sports, and I was fortunate that I got that opportunity to play, and here we are.
We saw that just in the vision there. You're, of course, taken in the national draft of 88. Your first year was 89. It was a tough year for West Coast 89. What was that like, that learning process?
Oh, it was huge, to be honest. I mean, I came out of a waffle system. I played at Claremont. We were successful. Joined the AFL, and you sort of don't know what you don't know. And it's interesting in my current role when you're dealing with young players coming in the door and you're trying to guide them through their journey. The understanding that sort of talent gets you to a point, but beyond that it becomes hard work. And I probably hadn't had to do that up until I arrived at the Eagles. And certainly the first year in '89 was tough as you learnt the ropes. But it didn't necessarily get any easier the next year in 1990 with Mick coming on board, and I found myself playing more at Claremont than at West Coast. So.
What was Mick's arrival like, and what did he sit you down and go, this is what I expect, and did he have sort of benchmarks, KPIs for you, and you say you went back to Claremont? Was he tough?
No, Mick was tough, but he was fair. I mean, he knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted out of the team. And in my case, he was pretty strong with me at the end of his first season about where he saw my shortcomings. I didn't necessarily agree with them, but that's some youth and some immaturity. And obviously on reflection now, you look back and go, yeah, he was right.
Did you push back?
Yeah, I did push back.
How'd that go with Mick?
Not that well. No, we had a bit of a Mexican standoff for one pre-season. I think he was saying, if you don't come down to training next week, you won't play. And I said, well, that'll be the same as last year. And that didn't go that well. But anyway, it was actually good. It was wonderful for me though. Like, as much as it was a difficult time because I was basically at loggerheads with the senior coach. It forced me to assess what I wanted out of the game, and also forced me to train to a level I hadn't trained before. So I was training on my own away from the squad, and eventually when I joined the squad back, in sort of mid-January, it was quite clear what he wanted. It was quite clear what I wanted, and then we sort of went forward from there.
You did, and you played in 2 flags, which is a great achievement. You're club champion, 2 flags at this moment. You ticked a few boxes as an AFL footballer. Yeah,
no, look, I was super fortunate. I consider myself lucky all the way through. I played firstly at Claremont, which was a great side. We had Serbi's measure most of the time, Goss. But then to join West Coast and be part of what is a great football team with great people and great players, I consider myself very lucky. Yeah.
I'm sure you want to thank a few people with today's honour, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Goss. Yeah, firstly to my teammates. We play a team sport for a reason because we love that sense of camaraderie and getting around and playing the game. And as I said, I was lucky to play with a lot of wonderful players, some of the icons of the game. But importantly, we were able to achieve something pretty special. And when people ask me now, the young guys sort of say, and most of the young guys I talk to now they were born in 2002 or 3, so they don't actually recall too fondly the 90s, funnily enough. But when I talk to them, it's sort of like, well, what bond is created through winning a premiership? And I'm a great believer it's the opposite. It's the sort of bond that exists that allowed us to achieve what we achieved, and that bond still exists today. And it's great to see some of my teammates here today sort of celebrating alongside, which is fantastic. And I consider myself lucky to have had those guys as part of the journey. To the club, and it's important we understand that the club is the people who helped me as well, whether it be our coaching group, and I've mentioned Mick already, but all the other coaches we're involved with, the training staff, our high performance guys, the medical people, the office staff. There's a lot of people that put a lot of work in to help the players achieve what they achieve, and for those people I say thank you, because without them we're not able to do what we're able to do and achieve the wonderful things. To my family, to my parents, unfortunately my father passed away a few years ago, but to my mum and dad for they're giving me the upbringing that I got. bringing a sort of a self-determined individual into the world and allowing me to flourish and chase my dreams is much appreciated. To my brothers, one of my brothers is here today, the other one's in Toronto. They're both older, and so I was the young fella trying to catch up the whole time, and they didn't give me an even break at all. They were making sure that I had to fight for every bit I got, which was helpful. Helped me in the long run in terms of building some resilience and some determination around that. To my wife, Jodie, who I met when I was playing Colts at Claremont in 1986, which is a long time ago, and so she's been with me the whole journey. Just a fantastic woman. Helped me raise two beautiful daughters in Ashton and Chandler, and one of us here today. And her support, but also her challenge of me in certain areas to allow me to be better now as a coach, but obviously as a player, and also as a person, has been a significant influence in my life. So to her, I love you and thank you very much for everything you've done for me over 30 odd years. And lastly, I'd like to thank the club, and I've mentioned the trainers and stuff, but the people who saw it fitting to give me this honour. I'm truly grateful. I find as I go through, I've been through a couple of different journeys in footy, obviously at Adelaide, and now I'm working at Sydney. The thing that stands out for me in the best clubs is the quality of the people, and that's from the top in the board all the way down to the playing group. And what it creates something which is enduring, and it's something which connects with the individual who's involved in the club. And West Coast is one of the fortunate clubs in the comp. I know last year was last year, but West Coast, when you look across the club, and I'm fortunate to work in a similar club in Sydney and see how they go about keeping that alive, that understanding of what it's like to be, in the case of Sydney, in the Bloods culture, but in the case of West Coast, to be a part of the West Coast family, I think it shouldn't be underestimated. We're very fortunate to be part of a great club, very fortunate to be part of a community that actually follows the club and loves what the club does within the community and connects people together, provides a real sense of belonging. And so to be honoured in this way for me is really special. I thank you, and all the best to the club for 2023. I'll be watching, as I always do, with keen interest. Thank you very much.